What's up guys, it is Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So what I got for you today is none other than Groh. Now this is going to be a little bit different because Groh only has lore for Soul Calibur 6. So if you read the thumbnail correctly, it means that we're going to go over his full lore from this game here, because obviously he's a new character, so he doesn't have a prior self in the previous timeline. So with that being said, we're just going to jump right into it because we have a lot to cover for this character as he's a mainstay in this game. The mysterious Aval organization was a secret group with origins rooted in ancient times. They say the group came to be when a king used the spirit sword to defeat its cursed counterpart, and with his dying breath entrusted them to both the blade and his unfinished mission. Each new generation has taken on the group's mission to rid the world of outsiders, quote-unquote, those connected with this cursed sword. One such member was Groh, about whom little is known save for the fact that he was a fearsome warrior. Though his fighting style is shrouded in mystery, he is believed to have wielded two swords. Some may also say that he kept certain technique close to his chest. The Aval organization's top priority was terminating the wielder of Soul Edge, Nightmare. Even though they employed the ace up their sleeve in the form of Groh, he was unable to accomplish his mission. Deeply wounded, he was pushed to the brink of death. The blow from Soul Edge had resulted in his soul being half consumed by evil, and yet he thought perhaps he can use this terrible fate to fulfill his mission. He would control the evil within him, and only ever unleash it to the extent that he could maintain a grip on his own consciousness. Then, when his mission was complete, he would take his own life. It was a cold yet logical path, the only way he could engage going forward. He would fight fire with fire. Unfortunately, righteousness can manifest itself in the cruelest of ways. When his friend was transformed into a Malfested, Groh had no choice but to end his life with his own two hands. With the organization having fallen into chaos, Groh felt the burden of responsibility squarely upon his own shoulders. If only he had been able to subdue Nightmare and do something about Aswell's secession. And yet, despite his belief in the organization in return would never recognize him as one of their own, because the evil in his body made him an outsider. He had to keep his condition a secret, or fear losing his life. Maintaining a delicate relationship with the Aval organization, Groh vowed to succeed his latest mission, terminating Aswell. With other members from the Aval organization, Groh followed Kilik and his companions as they headed towards their facing with Nightmare. While the monk was alone, the warrior in black fought Kilik to test his strength. When Kilik seemingly passed the test, Groh gave him information that Nightmare was based in Ostrheinsburg, and that Soul Edge was growing ever stronger. He then took his leave as Xianghua approaching. Later, when Kilik, Xianghua, and Maxi were ambushed by Astaroth, Groh arrived and offered to guide the first two to Ostrheinsburg, and then he departed from them as they were about to enter the room where Nightmare was waiting. Just when Soul Edge was about to regain all of his power, Groh infiltrated Ostrheinsburg but was caught by Astaroth. He lost to the Golem and was forced to retreat. Sometime after Aswell's betrayal to the Aval organization, Groh pursued him to the east and encountered the conduit and sensed their unusual powers. He then ordered Dion and Natalie to keep an eye on them, but Groh ended up working alongside the conduit to close many of the astral fissures scattered throughout Asia and Europe. Although they found Aswell in Fugel Sestimus' underground temple, the researcher managed to escape, and Groh was ordered to find Kilik and attest his power. After completing his mission, he rejoined the conduit in Athens and found Aswell as he was about to unleash his ultimate seed. When his ally was defeated, Groh unleashed his Malfestation and fought Aswell. The battle ended when the two of them fell into a deep ravine. Because he was a Malfestation, Groh was considered an outsider by the Aval organization. Over the next year, Groh roamed the land as the Black Demon. He was eventually confronted by the conduit, who made him a promise to stop him if he ever became Malfested fully. Groh's fate is determined by two factors: the direction in which the conduit's spirit scale is leaning towards, and the sword they use to defeat Aswell. Groh will either die by the conduit's hands, or will be buried, or will be spared, and makes his promise to his comrade to use his powers for good. Groh is usually a tacturnal young man who is all about business, carrying out orders and missions with unwavering conviction. Despite his standoffish nature, he is not without emotion or compassion for others, particularly his allies Natalie and Dion, and later the protagonist of Libra of Soul, and served as a hero of inspiration to the Aval as a whole. His relationship with the protagonist of Libra of Soul is noticeably much stronger. While initially suspicious of them, he grows to respect them, being the conduit, ultimately revealing to them not only his longing for home, but his most closely guarded secret of possessing Maleficent power, and trusting them to kill him should he ever lose his sanity fully. While Groh hates outsiders, he is willing to test them to see whether or not they retain any shred of their humanity. Groh's usual business demeanor fades away completely whenever confronted with Aswell, his quiet tone erupting most immediately into seething rage and contempt. Ever since the incident involving the death of Curtis and the Aval's leader Orzal, this anger manifests itself when Groh willingly compromises his will in order to strike the said traitor down personally. In the good ending of Libra of Soul, which in my opinion is the canon ending, Groh feels indebted and very grateful towards the conduit for saving him and hopes to live by their example and uses his powers for something other than simply completing missions. In the uncanon version, or the alternate canon version that you can see in Libra of Souls, he is dispatched by the conduit, and that's that. One of the fighting styles used by the Aval organization's combat personnel is the Aval Dord swordsmanship. In the Middle Ages, most of the organization's knights were heavy armor and primarily made use of swords, shield, longsword techniques. However, as time passed and the organization transitioned into a secret society, the armor and weaponry became tighter. The techniques more practical for agents engaged in clandestine operations. The ideal for Aval's unique weaponry and fighting style dates to this transitional phase, and the style underwent multiple revisions before reaching its final form. Unlike standard sword styles, Aval's twin-blade swordsmanship often employs multiple consecutive slashes. This is a major disadvantage in that its careless practitioner runs the risk of injuring themselves. As such, it takes a lot of practice to use this style effectively. Aval twin-blade swordsmanship also allows for the swords to be split in two and wielded separately. This tactic is one of the many ways the wielder can use surprise on their opponent, giving them the opportunity to string together a series of blows that lead to a final deadly slash. Groh disliked just one thing about the Aval signature fighting style, and that its moves were never named. Therefore, he decided to come up with his own. The more conservative members of the organization objected, but Groh was able to win them over in a few ways. First, he explained that the names would allow the techniques to be passed on more easily, and secondly, by writing an extraordinarily detailed text describing the moves. Thirdly, by extensively researching appropriate names based on the Aval organization's deep-rooted traditions. In battle, he often shouts out the technique's name, in the hopes that nearby allies may better learn and appreciate them. So, Groh is probably, arguably the main protagonist of this game. A lot of people will go back to characters such as Sophitia, and some even Mitsurugi, since he plays a large part in Libra, but Groh is undoubtedly the main character in this game, and he's my main in the game. He's, for the first time, a character that I've chosen a new character as a main. I don't really often do that, but I have delved into him, especially with his soul charge. The only person I think that is better than him in the game, technique-wise, is probably Kilik, and that's only after he enters his Malfested state, his soul charge mode, where he can actually unleash different techniques. The reason I like him is because he's balanced. He does have a slight pause after his fighting moves, but he is quite fast and really easy to gain an upper hand if you're starting a combo string. Not only that, but it's nice to see that we have a character with a transformation that isn't just completely written off or is just a good guy. We've seen with other characters, they get that, and it's not really much used to an effective way. I think Kilik is a good example of that, but we can't really have him have that struggle. That's why I think Groh was created in the first place, to represent that inner struggle of manifestation. And Soul Calibur 6 has taken the Malfested lore into a whole new standing point, a whole new way. No longer are they just mindless monsters or servants of the sword, or destined to join them. We have a lot of control, and I think most of this comes from Groh. With that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to a close. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to have a conversation in the comment section down below with either myself or other members of this awesome community. And as always, guys, thank you and thick you.
Hey, what's up, guys? Have you always wanted some sweet Mark Yoon merch? Maybe a thick U shirt, maybe a shirt from Squirt, maybe my pretty face with my logo all over your body, or a throw pillow, or blanket, or anything? Well, you're in luck because I just launched my merch store and it is going to be available on Redbubble, and you will find a link to it in my description box down below. It's got a lot of quality content and a lot of good stuff for you to pick up so you can show your support for the channel and just rep Mark Yoon. Alright guys, as always, thick you.